Hello everybody, welcome to another SonicLAB presentation. We've got Andy Mack from Akai.
Hi, Nick.
Boy, have we got some big news, right?
We certainly have. We certainly have got some very big news today. So obviously I have the pleasure of presenting to you the brand new MPC LIVE III. This is our next generation standalone MPC hardware.
I mean, first look, it's got a lot more going on from what I can see. I mean, the basics are the same, 16 pads, and then, but quite a lot more buttons and control, right?
Yeah, you know, if we take a step back, you know, Live 2 became industry standard, used by so many artists around the world, and we really wanted to excel on the Live 2 to bring some of the most compelling new features that really push the boundaries of what you can do, you know, music production, live performance. So with further ado, why don't we dive in and let me tell you some of the incredible things that Live 3 does. So first thing is 8-core processor, 8 GB of RAM, so this is super fast. This is 4 times the power of any MPC, and with that, it allows us to run 32 plug-in instances of your instruments, pro high-quality stem separation, 16 tracks of audio. So it really pushes the boundaries of performance and speed on an MPC. But first thing I want to talk about is the pads.
Yeah, they look different.
Yeah, they look different.
They've got more blinky lights.
Yeah, they look different, they play different, and you can do some of the most incredible things. So these are called MPCe expressive pads. So it's 3D sensing, which means that I can basically, let me show you actually, instead of talking, let me go.
So positional X, Y.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So I can go on a X, I can go into an X axis. I can add pitch. I can do morphing between 4 samples. So we can glide between the different quadrants. So you've got 4 quadrants. We can do like triggering one-shot samples.
Oh, so like 4 pads for the price of 1?
Yeah. So if you wanted to turn 16 into 64, you can literally just assign samples to each of the quadrants.
Are they slightly bigger for that reason? Or are they exactly the same size? It just looks like there's kind of a decent amount of space to get to the 4 corners.
You know, we've kind of changed the position of the pads because obviously we've got the touch strip in here now as well. But the feel, the velocity levels, it's like nothing we've ever created before. Like the feel of these pads are second to none. Like for instance, if I, like this sample here, I've got 4 toms on here. So,
right. But again, I mean, that's like quadruple the amount of pads per pad.
Yeah, because you think something as simple as like that, it's going to take you, you know, a complete row, so 4 pads. So when you can start doing the
that's got a note repeat as well going on there as well.
So yeah, and I'll show you some of that because it's really cool. The different types of articulations that we
on
can
each
do
pad as well, because it's not global. It's per, or it can be per pad.
Per pad. So we can do everything from. I'll dive in. So if I go into effects, we've got articulations. So for instance, on these pads, I can add everything from flams, ghost notes to dotted rudiments. We can go into rolls, pitched rolls.
Those are categories, right?
Yeah, note repeats. So this gives you a whole different type of creative flow of building out your own content, you know. So for instance,
one finger conga pattern. Yeah, wow.
And you've got to think about pad technology, right? It hasn't really evolved for a long time. You know, it's always been 16 pads. We've had LED lights added, clear pads. There's been different things that have happened, but the way that you play pads hasn't really moved forward. So this really, having this type of technology on drum kits, like I said, like I could go to pitch, so again, it adds a whole different level of expression.
And that was what, 3 pads?
Yeah,
yeah,
3 pads. So some really cool things I'll show you. So I've got a loop here, so we can.
And then, you know, that's all happening, right? Yeah, okay.
And
That's,
like for example, this one, snare in the middle, rim on the edges. So you can change, you know, you can.
So you can do 5. So does that mean you could do 5 on a pad, or is it?
Yeah. So you know, I can do layers. I can do 4. I can actually do 2 layers per quadrant as well. So there's so many different types of behaviors that you can do that suits your style of playing.
Right.
But again, like I said, like simple one shots. Rim here, articulation, bringing in that loop.
And different behaviour, because you're tapping that one is a different sound, but swiping to it does something different again. I guess with the you know, the kind of growth of MPE and this sort of sense of having more things under your fingers, it makes total sense.
Oh, it does, because you know, you can see the industry is bringing in the expressive technology, and bringing it to drum kits is a world's first. And the way that we've added it to the pads, you regain the magic of what MPC is when you're playing pads. So you can play the pads as a normal one single shot sample, or you can go into your layers and layer your kicks. But to have access to the individual quadrants where you could make 16 into 64 by, you know.
Yeah, multiple kits, so you can swap kits, kind of,
Yeah, if you want to play stuff like that, or you use it for expression. So, for instance, let's just make a quick track real quick. You know, I'm going to do a whole bunch of different music styles with you today, just to showcase all of the different features. But let's just knock something together really, really quickly. So I'll just do 4 bars, and we can. So you start adding kind of rhythmic patterns into your melodic.
Right, so you can record the automations into the sequencer as well, right, okay.
And then I can record my, so we could just lay that down. You know, that quick, without having to do any rolls. And then classic toms. Turn the metronome off. There, we can go into it and add some little samples. So now, the other thing with the processor, we can load up plugins like lightning fast. Like I said, like 32 plugin instances. So let's add a melody. So we'll go to plugins, and like I said earlier, we can run up to 32 plugin instances, fully standalone. So we go. So we'll keep going through different sounds, find some other stuff we like. Another sound.
And this is a virtual instrument by the sounds of it, right?
Yeah, I've got some of the, using some of the native plugins. Now, if I load up another plugin instruments straight away, load up the UI, see how fast it loads.
Yeah.
Really, really quick. So now I'll go to, let's find a nice lead sound. And then with the touch strip, what we can do as well, I can hold down the touch strip and we can change this to something like modulation or pitch bend. So we can
add the extra performance in that way as well, right?
If we go to modulation, we can go into modulation here. So it gives another level when you're playing instruments as well. But also what's really cool, the step sequencer, which we'll talk about a little bit later, I can flip this into doing live effects as well. So I can go into and then use my touch strip at the same time.
So they're like sort of punch-in effects almost, right?
Yeah, so when you combined live effects, touch strip, the expressive pads, it really takes everything you do to a, you know, to a whole new level.
Well, I mean, when you're interacting with it, you're putting so much expression into it. When you're performing with it, you're adding a lot of extra data that can control all this. I mean, that's a sort of big, that's a big shift, right?
And like, for instance, like just add in vocal chops and all of this kind of stuff over your track, just having the ability to position different samples on one single pad so you can literally create instant ideas is such an effective way to work.
And can it run in sort of like, I haven't learned how to get the most of them yet mode, so you just got to go, I just want to trigger some drum samples for now. I mean,
yeah, so we basically, well, let me show you real quick actually. So if we go into our browser, expansions, so we got a whole bunch of collection of expansions from F9, acoustic drum kits, Marco Polo, there's loads of stuff in here covering so many different genres. But we've got an MPC expressive expansion that gives you a whole different range of different types of kits that we've made, from classic drum machines through to acoustic kits, but also we've added a whole bunch of templates. So if you want 4 samples per pad, 8 samples, 64 pad layout, we've added all those. So you just load up the kit and you drop your samples in. Really simple. But for the more advanced user, if you want to get kind of quite tricky with it and have some fun, like for instance, we could go into the edit and we can go to the mod matrix. So this is where all of the kind of the DNA happens underneath, which is really exciting. So for example, if you think of the pads of X, Y, Z, right, for pressure. So as we go on the Y axis, all I'm doing is going, what do I want my MPCe pads to do? I want to maneuver on the Y axis, which is going up, and my target is pitch, like that. If I want to target to filter, I do the same. Go to the mod matrix, and you can see pad X, right, as I slide across.
And when you're going into that, it sort of solos the pad, so you know that's what you're working.
Yeah, right, and you've got 32 possibilities of things that you could do to that pad. So for sound designers, you could do some really, really crazy stuff. Like on this one here, where I've done pitch just by moving, and this one with an LFO on there as well. So the possibilities are endless. They really are when you think about trim, rims, all kinds of open hi-hat.
You can get mute groups and choking and stuff. Just quickly, is this all running? Is this SSD running off, or is it running off an SD cards? What's the storage? Oh
no, so we've got SSD inside. So we've got 128 gigabytes of storage on this.
Right.
So you can run everything from disk streaming directly. So plus you've got SD card and USB. So from a sample aspect, everything is, you can disk stream everything. You can run it in the RAM. It's really up to you.
Right.
But especially for disk streaming, one of the other features that we've got now that we've added is clip launching, which was a big thing on Force, and now you can use live clips, you can record loops, you can do performances, you can build your song structures, do different types of takes, and it's such an amazing workflow added to what MPC already has. So I could trigger, loop, test some different ones out, bring in some audio, some chords. Then I could go to a lead sound.
Can you record into this interface as well? Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow, okay, so you're bringing like some of them, and then, wow, okay.
Move it a loop. Stop loops.
And that's all snapped to whatever the values you want to set.
You know, and I'm doing all this in real time, just having fun, do you know what I mean? And the ability to just drop loops in here and just trigger things, you get different types of kind of like accidents that can happen. You go, I love that. And then you can record this all into the arranger. So you can record your whole performance and then just capture different ideas. So that's what's really amazing of having some of these new workflows. Yeah. So when you think about having the pads, clip launching, live effects using the step sequencer, touch strip, we've also got a built-in microphone as well. So you want to capture ideas instantly and put some like melodies over the top. You can record that straight into an audio track or sample straight to a pad if you want to do that. Other things that we've added, so you've got a combo jack XLR on the back now. Yep. So, and again, because it's so portable, people want to make music anywhere, but one of the restrictions was you couldn't plug an XLR into it, so you'd have to have some kind of powered box, you know, phantom power, so you can plug in a really nice microphone. And
you've got, I see you've got some USB connections here. Does it take class compliant devices as well?
Yeah, so we've still got USB, but we've added USB-C. So USB-C really opens up the boundaries of what you can do, because now we can connect iPads, iOS devices, smartphones, sample straight from a smartphone, trigger some of your favorite apps, right, which I'll show you later, one cable. But also I can transfer high-speed 24 channels of audio straight into Logic, Ableton.
Just multi-track record the output.
So all you do, it's so simple. Go to I/O, you've got all your outputs, USB outputs here. So I can go
send them out there.
Yep, straight there, track it in.
Wow, okay.
32 channels of bidirectional MIDI. So I could use my Mac as a sound module and then sequence everything in here if you want to be kind of fully standalone and take advantage of the MPC workflow. But you might want to pull, you know, I don't know, say 8 instances of Omnisphere, but you can just set them up as MIDI.
Bring them in.
Yeah.
Right.
So
tell me a bit more about this sequence, because this is like a TR style 16-step type
so
thing, right?
What we should do, talk about the sequencer, we should switch up the music. We'll do some more electronic-based stuff.
Okay.
Me and you can do a little jam at the end, like
traditional,
we do, traditional jam. And we'll go through the step sequencer and show you some of those features. Cool.
So, as if by magic, we have the Moog Mother 32 that's shown up, which we've connected via the CV and gate outputs, because this has got 4 stereo CV gate outs, right?
8, yeah, that's right. And what we really want to focus on here is one of the major new features, which is the 16 function button step sequencer.
Right.
And, you know, so many people have moved over to MPC, especially on the electronic side. You know, you see people like Fred doing stuff on stage, and it's quite amazing. So having this kind of classic step sequencer mode really opens up the doors of like how you can produce on this.
It's going to maybe help people who are used to TR style sequencing kind of get started as well, right?
Yeah. So you know, let me show you some of the features of what you can do. It's so simple to use, right? And let's start off with let's just lay down kick and snare. I'm just going to keep this round with just one beat at the moment. So start my sequencer. I can silently select my hats.
That's useful. So you don't
really useful. Humanize it a little bit, shall we? Just hold down the step, use the velocity, change velocity. There we go. Just going to move that out of the way. Now I can pick up another sound. And then we could go into some like editing parameters as well. Now also with the quadrants, I can
Oh, you can record. They've also got their own tracks as well.
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
So I can come out of that one. Again, bring velocity down. So you can get a really crazy feel going on. Right, so it's really simple to use step sequencer. Now for more advanced users, we can go into our step edit, okay? So once we go into step edit, we can go into the step sequencer. You'll see a white light moving across.
Yeah.
So now we can either use the encoder to go through the steps, or we can just hit them, and then we can do velocities, ratchet, like that, real cool. Nice. Modifiers, so parameter locks, so we can go into envelope filter, we can tune, hit the step, tune. So again, really, really simple, especially once you start getting into bass lines and doing things that are kind of outside your comfort zone,
right.
Of coming up with melodies that way. We can also go into note sequence as well. So I could go into a sound. Let's just say, let's pull up a plugin. I'm going to go to new plugin, and I'm going to pull up let's pull up a synth. And then if we want to play chords, we can go into note sequence. And then what I'm going to do is I can play a chord, hit the step where I want it to be. Like that, simple. And then you can just implement those notes. We can affect the length of the notes as well.
You can edit those steps as well, right, okay.
But also, if let's just say, for instance, I want to go back into my notes, and let's go back here, and I'd take a note. If I want to change the length of that note, I can just hold down the step, and there we go. There's the length of the note as well.
That's neat.
And obviously, if you're coming up with melodies, using the clip matrix is also super cool because you just keep creating different ideas. So, for example, I've got a sound here. So I could just go 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to take that, what we can do, we can copy this. So I can just copy, paste, and then you could place something else over the top of that.
Because you're not using the note repeat, so
yeah. And then, or we could just take a completely different melody again. So I could go back in. And then back to the other one, do you know what I mean? Back to this one.
Yeah, so it's got that workflow is built in, it's baked in. So. Yeah.
But also what's really cool with clips, if we go to, obviously the step sequencer, like I was saying earlier that it flips into different modes. So we can flip it into clip launch mode. So now, because I'm on this track, you can see the 3 clips that I've got, and that will keep populating. So I could go launch that clip, launch that clip. So if I'm editing, so let's just say I'm using the plugin and I want to do some cool stuff with the plugin, I'm on screen mode. Without having to look at the clips as well.
Right, you could just edit the sound against them.
Then we can. So that side, super powerful, right? Super powerful. So I can stop all clips, and then I'm kind of back in my sequence mode. So let's have a jam. Let's make something, right, from the ground upwards.
Okay.
I will erase what we've done on the step sequencer, go back into step mode, and what we'll do, I'm going to start off with a melody, and this is like a kit that we've made, but we've used obviously just single notes, but we've used the expressive pads, so you can.
Yeah, it's like a sort of soft piano with a synth
very
pad.
ambient,
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
And yeah, kind of dreamy. And then what I do, so let's put something down. So then we can go to step sequencer. I'll turn off the metronome. Humanize. We're there already. So now...
It's so fast, isn't it?
Oh, no,
I mean, I know you're slick on this, but I mean, this is good even for you, you know.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm you know, I make a lot of different music genres, but it's so easy to be using it. And it just takes me out of my different styles as well. So I've got like a melody here that we can pump in. And we can add more notes to this, so we can see where all the notes are randomly.
And this is all in key.
Yeah, it's all in key, and we're in C minor, I do believe. So now we can go to, I'll bring that down a bit. So let's go over to the mode.
So this is the CV we've got mapped up. Get some pulse within there.
I've seen where this is going to take us. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to change the length. And we can do independent track lengths as well.
Right.
The step sequencer, which can, again, you can go down a whole
and we've got, just to check, we've got, there's 6 individual outputs here as well, aren't there?
Yeah, 6 individual outputs. And then we've got a whole new CV playground, which is really enhancing the CV capability. So if I go over to CV and go into edit, we can now route kind of like LFOs directly to this, and I can control those. So we can go. So again, where you would have separate modules that you would have to buy, you can actually trigger them now.
All right, so that's running this, the VCF.
Yeah.
That's my job, though, man. What do I do?
No, I know. Well, there's a few there.
I can just move the pulse width knob, right? So just stay in character, right?
So we've got
stay in the lane back.
4 envelopes, 4 LFOs.
Right, so these can then output to whatever CVs you want, and we can patch them into,
and a full matrix. So you can blend LFOs together and come up with some really crazy concepts. So obviously, as you know, so many people use MPC for the CV. Having the step sequencer and the CV playground, it enhances the whole electronic workflow even more. Now that we got that running, we can do some really great stuff by flipping the sequencer into our performance mode. Right. So now I've got my drums muted on here, right? So I can go into doing some go into this as well. So I've got some projects set up where I can control different types of effects, or I can simply control my plugins as well. So on the vocal, check this out, I'll show you. Nice. Kill switches for.
And this is all completely configurable?
Yeah, like all I've done, I've gone into my Q links and I've gone into my pad grid, and I've got 4 banks of these as well, 64 potential possibilities of setting up your own. Like I've routed all of the drums that I want to use.
It's interesting because I mean, I know Force is very different, but adding this as extra 16 pads effectively, and then another, whatever, 48 pads on here, by using the same, you've given it the same sort of functionality, but with the familiar workflow.
But also, but when you introduce the MPC pads as well, like something like this, check this out, right? With a pitch.
I mean, it seems very much geared, and I guess all of this stuff can be recorded in real time. So if you're just going wild and you go, yeah, if I was recording that, then I can take that. So this is a new update to the MPC OS, right?
Yeah, so this is running 3.6. So with 3.6, there's, you know, this is obviously where we're running clip launching, we're running pro level stem separation, and we've added a brand new time stretching algorithm called Super. So for instance, now if I go to my time stretch, you'll see default Super, and we can
wow, that is artifact free. I hope you still got a rubbish one as well, because sometimes that sounds good.
We've still got the dirty ones in there. Do you know what I mean? Some ones, because you know, different people like different types of textures, but this one's really, really clean, which really plays into being able to manipulate audio. Now, some other things we've added, which are really, really useful to know, and I will go into this loop. We've got a new reverb. So Reverb Pro, really high quality reverb now. So you've got early reflections, tails, EQ and dynamics that you can use on the reverb, and a visual EQ.
Nice.
And the last one is a utility plugin. So because people like to do a lot of mixing standalone, you can now apply this to each channel, and you can do phase reverse as well, which is really useful for 808s and kick drums, stuff like that, bass mono. So again, it's another tool that's really, really useful, which is all part of 3.6. But all of the new features, they're all in the software already, so you can integrate that. But to be honest with you, with this type of power, you've got to ask yourself, you know, there's so much more that you can do without the need of a computer. And having USB-C, we can just go straight into our USB-C, which is here, and then we can control our iOS app. So I would, I'd set up an audio track. So, well, the first thing I'd do, I go to New, and then I go to MIDI, right? And my port is going to be my USB MIDI port 1. Right. So now my pads will play this as an instrument, and then my audio, right? So I'm just going to put this on here, go auto, merge, new track, audio, and we're going to use audio input, which is going to be USB. There we go.
Okay, I've got, I'm selecting a fingers bass patch, which is a bounce classic apparently. Yeah. So do your worst. So let's see, I can.
So what we could do then, we could put something down. There we go. And then we can add extra notes in using the step sequencer. And then we've got the effects routed on here, so we can.
So we've got a delay on the USB return as well. Nice.
You know what I mean? Then I can go back to my. Go back to our drums.
I mean, you can, and so I mean, you can have external MIDI controllers to add additional stuff.
Yeah, so powerful.
It does seem very powerful, doesn't it? I mean, so this is, by the time you folks see this, it should be in the stores, or is it just
it'll be in the stores. So 2nd of October, $13.99 in the UK. Right. So yeah, we're very, very excited because this really does open up the boundaries of what you can do, especially for studio live performance, portability, and you can see by all of these features that we've really enhanced the MPC Live, taking it to a whole new level with all of the capabilities of what you can do.
And with the SD card storage, you could sort of move things from the SD to the SSD and backwards and forwards.
And also, if you once you connect via USB-C, you know, you can move stuff across
real fast. I imagine
you could do your 24 tracks transfer straight into Ableton or whatever you want to do. And also, obviously, with the clip launching, you can import your ALS sessions as well. straight into it, so you can bring in your clips from Ableton if you want to do into that workflow as well. So there's so many different things for everyone, really, in the sense of your classic MPC workflow, or you can use clips. So instead of me recording into the arrangement, I can record into clips and build out my clips for live, and then integrate that with pads, sequencing, MIDI, with a speaker, so you can hear all.
There's a lot going on there. Thank you so much, Andy. Well, so get out there and try one. Obviously, we're going to probably play out with our traditional noodle. So thanks very much for coming down and seeing us, Andy.
Pleasure, Nick. As always.